In the vast expanse of the ocean, a team of Navy divers embarked on a daring mission to retrieve a sunken airplane resting on the ocean floor. The anticipation ran high as they descended into the depths, their excitement mixed with a hint of trepidation. Little did they know, their discovery would send shockwaves through their souls and forever change their perception of the past. Jack, who had just joined the Navy, looked at the plane as it was pulled out of the water. He was excited about this mission, but he had so many questions. Once Jack and his team were able to find an entrance, they entered the plane, one by one. And after they took a look around, they were surprised. Instead of finding answers, they only found things that raised more questions. What had happened with this plane? But before we start, smash the like button, and make sure to subscribe if you haven't, and hit that notification bell so that you won't miss any new stories. Jack had to admit that he was feeling a bit excited. He had just joined the Navy and he was sent out on his first big mission, pulling an airplane from the sea. He knew that all the other sailors on his team had already been on special assignments before, so he was the only newbie in this group. But that wouldn't spoil the fun. He was excited to see how his more experienced colleagues handled the work, and he was sure he would be able to learn a lot from them. So, as their ship set out to their destination, he couldn't help but feel excitement. It all felt so serious and special to Jack, and in a way, it was. It was his first ever mission out on the open sea, and it was definitely one he would never forget, and neither would his colleagues. They knew that there was something very special about this plane, but they had no idea about what was waiting for them inside. You see, the plane had suddenly just disappeared off the radar, but what made it even weirder was that it had just as suddenly appeared in the sky. Nobody knew where it came from, and where it had taken off, or who was flying it, or how many people were inside. Jack and his team set out to sea in the early morning, and soon they made it to their destination. He looked around, and he found it all very interesting. They were out in the middle of the open sea, and there was absolutely nothing to see that indicated that they had arrived at the right spot. However, this was indeed the place where they needed to be. The airplane they were looking for had suddenly disappeared from the radar a couple of days ago, and it had not landed at any airport. So, they assumed it had crashed into the sea. They had tracked down the location where the airplane had been spotted for the last time before it disappeared, and they sent a ship over to search Syria. They didn't have its exact location, but they all hoped that they would find it soon enough, and they did. Using sonar and acoustic imaging, they were able to map out the entire ocean floor of the area, and sure enough, they spotted something. There was no doubt about it. It was the airplane. It lay there on the bottom of the sea, waiting to be found. The ship they were on was huge, and it even had a crane. They needed it to pull the plane out of the water, but they needed to be careful. It was their goal to get the ship outside of the water in one piece without breaking or damaging it. So, Jack and his team took the attachment chains and attached them to the crane. The operator then slowly lowered the chains into the ocean, waiting for a sign from the divers. When they were done, they gave the operator the sign to lift the plane. As the operator placed the plane on the platform, they heard a loud noise. One of the emergency exit doors slid open. Jack and his colleagues looked at each other with wide eyes. They all knew what that meant, and it was something they had not expected. Somebody had jumped out of this plane before it crashed into the water. But how many people had jumped? Where had they landed? And most importantly, were they still alive? Once they were inside, they took a look around, and immediately they noticed something odd. This didn't feel right to any of them. What had happened in here? They were so surprised because the plane was completely empty. They hadn't expected to find any living passengers. That would be difficult after the plane had been underwater for so long. But there were no bodies inside it either. There had to be an explanation for this. Where had they gone? They knew one thing for sure, and that was that one of the emergency exits had been opened before the plane crashed into the water. The divers hadn't seen any signs of this, but the door must have been pushed closed by the pressure of the water. As they searched the plane, they realized that not many passengers must have been inside. All of the storage units above the seats were completely empty. They found no personal belongings at all. If there had been many passengers inside, surely they would have left some stuff behind, but another big surprise was waiting for them. Jack walked over to the back of the plane, and then he saw it. He blinked a few times to make sure he wasn't imagining anything, but it didn't disappear. He turned pale, and he quickly called his team to come over. They all stood there, staring at the discovery in front of them. You see, Jack had found something, but he had no idea what it meant. It was a huge box, and it was locked with many chains around it. Whatever was inside it, someone didn't want it to be found. That much was obvious. Jack and his team knew that they needed to open it in order to get some answers, but they needed to be careful, as they had no idea what could be inside it. It could be very dangerous, and they didn't want to take any risks. As Jack and his team prepared to investigate the box, They couldn't shake off the feeling of delving into a narrative much larger than themselves. They decided to start a deeper dive, not just into the waters, but into the history of the plane's last known flight. Records were pulled, and old flight manifests were requested. Each sailor knew they were at the cusp of a mystery that spanned more than the ocean's depth. While waiting for the flight records, the team pored over old newspapers and digital archives, searching for any mention of the plane or potential passengers. Each article read like an echo from the past, whispering secrets that Jack felt compelled to understand. Among the snippets of information, one article stood out, a mention of a prominent businessman's sudden disappearance roughly a decade ago. As the hours passed, the weather turned, and the sea began to reflect the team's turbulent thoughts. The churning waves mirrored their restless anticipation. In the ship's dimly lit operations room, Jack and his crew pieced together timelines and theories. It was as if they were not only searching for the plane's passengers, but also for shadows in the murky depths of history. The silence of the submerged plane seemed to hold its breath as the team worked. Jack felt a palpable tension as he sifted through the marine growth clinging to the aircraft's skin. Each piece removed, each compartment opened, seemed to bring them closer to a truth that the ocean had swallowed whole. When the team discovered personal effects floating through the cabin, a chill ran down their spines. A child's toy, a woman's scarf, items that whispered of lives interrupted. They floated like ghosts in the waterlogged cabin, and Jack wondered about the stories they carried, the whispers of their owners still imprinted on their fabric. Jack's superiors had begun their inquiries, reaching out to aviation experts and retired pilots who may have heard of the plane. Each call was a thread in a larger web, each response a potential lead, and with each passing moment, the team felt the weight of the unseen web of history drawing tighter around them. During their watches, the sailors spoke in hushed tones about the plane. Some murmured about supernatural explanations, others conjectured about espionage. The plane seemed to bring the depths closer to the surface, stirring the imaginations of all on board. Jack listened to the tales, wondering where the line between myth and mystery lay. There was an excruciating period of waiting for further instructions from the Navy command. The team had uncovered something potentially explosive, and now the silence from above was deafening. Jack could see his teammates growing impatient, the energy aboard the ship becoming as dense and heavy as the water surrounding them. Finally, a breakthrough came in the form of a faded flight logbook, discovered in a forgotten archive. The logbook's brittle pages contained entries that matched the time period of the mysterious plane's disappearance. Jack and his team studied the logs meticulously, hoping to find a clue that would point them towards the truth. The logs revealed an unlisted flight, one that had no recorded departure or destination. It was as if the plane was meant to disappear. This discovery raised more questions than answers, and the team felt the narrative twist unexpectedly. The unlisted flight was a piece of the puzzle they hadn't known they were missing. As they prepared to open the box, the sailors felt the gravity of their discovery. This wasn't just about a plane, it was about people, about lives that had been touched by whatever lay within. They were no longer just sailors, they were custodians of a story that needed to be told. With a mix of caution and curiosity, the team decided to unlock the mysterious box. Breaking the chains was a challenging task, but their determination overcame the obstacles. As the last chain fell to the floor, the box was finally revealed in its entirety. It was ornate, imposing, and held the promise of unveiling secrets that had remained hidden for far too long. The sound of the chains falling to the floor echoed through the confined space of the plane. The team exchanged anxious glances, unsure of what awaited them within the box. They knew they had to proceed carefully. The contents could be of great significance, or potentially dangerous. With bated breath, they prepared to unveil the box's secrets. With caution, the team opened the box to reveal a trove of documents and personal items. Photos, letters, and journals spilled out, hinting at the lives of those who had once occupied the plane. The significance of their discovery was staggering, and the team realized they were on the brink of uncovering a profound and long-hidden secret. The significance of their find weighed heavily on the athlete. The personal items and documents spoke of lives lived and stories untold. This was no ordinary plane, and the enigma surrounding it deepened. They understood that they were on the verge of unraveling a tale that had been buried beneath the depths of the ocean for far too long. As the team sifted through the items in the box, they stumbled upon a revelation that left them in stunned silence. One of the documents mentioned a name that had been shrouded in mystery for over a decade. The revelation sent shockwaves through the crew as they realized the true identity of the plane's owner. The team's realization that the plane belonged to a person of great notoriety and mystery left them in a state of shock. The implications were profound. The missing millionaire, believed to have disappeared for over a decade, was somehow linked to this sunken plane. Their mission had taken an unexpected turn, and they were now tasked with uncovering the truth about the millionaire's disappearance. The Navy crew knew they had to act swiftly. The discovery of the missing millionaire's connection to the plane raised numerous questions and concerns. They were determined to launch a comprehensive investigation to find out what had happened, and more importantly, whether there were any survivors or answers to the puzzle. With the revelation in mind, the team geared up for a new mission, an urgent search and rescue operation. The families of the missing millionaire and the passengers needed closure. The plane, which had hidden secrets for years, was now the focal point of a mission that would reveal the truth, no matter how deep it was buried. As the Navy team launched their search and rescue mission, the families of the missing passengers faced an anxious wait. Their hope for closure and answers was tinged with uncertainty. The revelation that the plane was connected to a mysterious millionaire's disappearance had brought their loved one's fate to the forefront of a complex narrative. The team began tracking the flight path of the enigmatic plane. They meticulously reconstructed its journey, trying to understand how it had ended up on the ocean floor. This was a challenging task, requiring a combination of technological expertise and investigative prowess. Each piece of the puzzle brought them closer to the truth. Delving into the missing millionaire's past was a crucial part of the investigation. The team sought to uncover the enigmatic figure's history, motivations, and any connections that could explain his disappearance. It was a journey into the depths of intrigue and secrets, where the past held the key to understanding the present. To tackle the complex investigation, experts from various fields were called in. Forensic specialists, aviation experts, and investigators with experience in high-profile cases joined the mission. Their combined knowledge and skills were indispensable in navigating the labyrinthine mysteries surrounding the missing millionaire and the sunken plane. The investigation began to yield results. The missing millionaire's disappearance was slowly being unraveled. Clues, once buried beneath the ocean's depths, now pointed to a sequence of events that had led to the plane's fateful descent. The team grew closer to understanding the enigmatic circumstances that had shrouded the millionaire's vanishing act. As the pieces of the puzzle fell into place, an intricate web of secrets was revealed. The missing millionaire's life was far from ordinary, entangled with controversies, clandestine dealings, and hidden connections. The team realized that his disappearance was not a random event but part of a larger, more complex narrative. The mission was fraught with challenges. The underwater conditions were unforgiving, and the mysteries ran deep. Yet, the Navy team persevered, driven by their determination to uncover the truth. Their resilience was a testament to their dedication as they navigated through treacherous waters and intricate revelations. Amidst the unfolding narrative, Jack's personal journey took a profound turn. He evolved from a young, inexperienced recruit to a resilient, resourceful team member. The mysteries of the mission and the weight of their revelations had left an indelible mark on his character, transforming him into a seasoned Navy professional. The climax of the story approached as the investigation reached its zenith. The missing millionaire's fate was revealed, shedding light on a narrative filled with intrigue, secrecy, and unexpected twists. The truth was both astonishing and unsettling, altering the course of the mission and the lives of those involved. With their investigation complete, the team presented their findings to higher authorities. The mystery that had persisted for years was finally solved, offering closure to the families of the missing passengers and the missing millionaire. The plane, which had hidden secrets for so long, was now a symbol of resilience, determination, and the relentless pursuit of truth.